Do you want to learn how to get retired, stay retired, and enjoy your life to the fullest? This is the Retire Happy Podcast with certified financial planner professional Jeremy Finger. Jeremy will be your guide to happiness as he discusses the art and science of retirement, breaking down the complicated information to help you make good financial decisions without worry or burden. Now, on to the show.
Hello and welcome to Retire Happy with Jeremy Finger. Jeremy, how are you today?
I'm excellent, Eric. How you doing?
I am doing fantastic. This is our third podcast together. Can you believe it? Did you?
Yeah.
Did you give me an anniversary present?
I did. What is it? A box of nails?
You were way too quick with that. Yeah. I think the third podcast is a box of nails. I'll expect to see that anytime now. Hey, for the listening audience, the first two podcasts kind of went through some of Jeremy's history, why he's doing what he's doing, what it looks like when somebody calls in or contacts them, because a lot of people are nervous about that, and there's absolutely no reason to be. As you learn more about Jeremy and you hear his voice and you hear his heart in these podcasts, you're going to figure out very quickly this is a guy that you can just sit down and have a drink with and talk and just say, hey, look, this is where I'm at. This is what I want to do. Today's podcast is kind of a follow-up to those two. We're going to talk about what it looks like from the time somebody signs on that dotted line and says, you know what, Jeremy, I want to work with you. So kind of a recap from last podcast. Again, calling in, you've gone through a lot with them, just talking about their situation, Jeremy, and now they're making this decision. You're both actually making the decision, because one of the things that you said, it's almost like a double interview process where you're making sure that it's a good fit for your team and it's a good fit for them and everybody's happy with the situation. So now that they are, and they're becoming a client, what happens from that point, Jeremy?
Okay. Let me kind of back up a little bit.
Sure.
Is that when someone does call in, and I might have mentioned this on the last podcast, is that our intent is to help them, whether that be whatever to make the next best step. And most of the time, if someone calls in, their next best step may not be dealing with us. It might be a lot simpler. It might be a lot easier, and that's it. But let's say someone. And your question really is like, what's it like to be a client? Is that kind of what you're asking? Okay.
Yeah.
All
I mean, so once they sign up, I mean, there's obviously there's things that they have to do and things that your team does. So I kind of want to go through that so that the audience understands that.
Yeah. When we are going through this process on one of our calls, if they're not a client, we go through this process with them. And let me describe what that's like. All right. So we're holistic financial planners, which is another way of saying, hey, guess what? We look at everything as much as possible and try to see the world through your eyes, knowing what we know. And that includes obviously all the things financial. Hey, what are your tax returns and your assets? Yes. How much money you need to, as far as the income is concerned, what are your sources of income? All that's fine. Ages, health status, all of that. Financial responsibilities. Are you taking care of parents? Are you taking care of kids? Are you in the sandwich generation? Or I think even you said, what are you? You said you might be a club sandwich generation.
I'm in the club sandwich generation, baby. That's right. Kids, grandkids, and parents all alive and doing well, which is a blessing, but I'm stuck in the middle.
Hey, you're not alone. There's a lot of people, and everybody's got their own little unique sandwich, so to speak. And so in trying to see the world through their eyes and also playing it through. So, hey, this person needs to think about when is an optimal time for them to take Social Security, knowing that they need to do Roth conversions to help potentially reduce their lifetime tax burden on their large IRA account, so to speak. Okay, for example, and playing their life through so they can live their best life. Now we play the life through financially speaking, and we alleviate some of that burden so that they can focus on their best life. All right. Now, what does that really look like to be a client? All right. So I just talked to this lady, this couple today, and they want to spend time in national parks. I'm like, great.
Nice.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I'm like, hey, you go to Zion, you go to Yellowstone, and you go to all these parks, and you volunteer, you do those things. And we're going to help you make sure that you live as tax efficiently as possible. Your income's going to show up in your bank account when you want to, and those types of things. So how does it work? Well, hey, we have a certain cadence of outbound communication from our group, whether that be either 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, depending. And then at least once or twice a year, we're going to have a strategy and tactical meeting. Not a review. I mean, although we do do that, but we also thinking forward into the future. Hey, what is it that we can do today to make next month, next year better in some way, shape, or form, whether that be simplify your life, having automatic distributions, or is there any strategic tax things that we need to plan for going forward to help reduce your tax bill? I had a communication with a CPA today. This client, he ended up having to write a small check, and $1,500 to the IRS. And so, hey, we have a great communication. We usually get documents signed off for the CPA. They contact us directly, and guess what we're going to do? We're going to up the withholding on this client's IRA distribution. So guess what, Eric? He didn't have to worry about making those contributions or pay the check to the IRS next year. He's going to have enough withholding from his distribution so that he didn't have to worry about that next year.
Yeah.
But that's what we do. That's one of the many things we do.
Yeah. And the thing is that you said it best. Everybody's got their own little sandwich, right?
That's right.
Everybody likes a little different. I can't stand olives. Just keep that stuff off of everything. None of my pizza, nothing. But that reminds me of how people kind of view life. And like you said, there are people that are out there that for work, they've probably traveled a ton, right? Whatever their job was, it took them maybe all over the world or maybe all over this country. And their retirement looks like staying right at home, enjoying the property that they have and not traveling. Whereas my wife and I, we want to travel, a couple times a year, hopefully, even before retirement, when the knees are still working real well and everything else. So I'm sure that you get just an absolutely wide variety of hopes, dreams, wants, desires, needs, and all that. So how do you help somebody navigate that? And as they become a client, sometimes I'm sure you have to be the voice of reason, or maybe, hey, you know what, this might not be the best idea. How do you navigate that with somebody?
Well, it's like getting into a hot tub. Sometimes you don't just dive in head first. You kind of get in 1 foot at a time.
Yep.
So testing the waters a little bit. One of the questions that I ask is like, okay, let's suppose you're retired. Tell me what retirement looks like.
Mm-hmm.
What is it that you're going to want to do? What was it that you're going to want to do? How much do you think that would take? And then sometimes I talked to this couple today. I mean, they are living well below their means.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, well, is there anything that you want to do that you haven't done? Or do you want to, and they give a certain amount of money a year. I mean, how would it make you feel, or what would you want to do if you could give triple the amount of money away? Would there be any extra impact that you could think you would do knowing that you're going to be okay if you could do that? And sometimes, Eric, that they don't know, they've never thought about it like that.
Yeah.
They lived their whole life saving, and then it's like, oh wait, I'm okay. But also the same token, though, I'm just going to say this: there's a lot of times where people may be pushing the limit a little bit, and saying, hey, and then there may be warning signs there that's like, hey, you might want to, instead of needing $8,000 a month in retirement, what's it going to look like if you had $6,500? And so sometimes these are difficult conversations.
Bottom line is that you've got to bring truth. I mean, that's what somebody's hiring you for, right? Have you ever had a situation where a client is like, look, I know that you have my best interest in mind, but I really want to buy A, B, or C, right? And they've just gone against what you're saying? I mean, have you ever really had that happen?
Yeah, and unfortunately, well, I can't say unfortunately, because I can't say that. A lot of times what we try to do is vet that out on our front end before they become a client, because if they're not going to work within like what really is in their best interest, and then a lot of times they don't become clients, and we just said, you know what, it might not be a good fit.
Yeah, let me dive into that a little bit with you, because when you say in their best interest, you're basing their best interest off of what they've already told you they want for their future, right? I mean, it's not like it's your best interest or what you want for them. You've already had this discussion. So you already know what they want in retirement. Like you asked the question, what do you want it to look like? And if I'll be 48 next month. If I'm 48 telling you that I want to be able to travel a little bit, I want to have enough money to spoil the grandkids a little bit, I want to, my house to be paid off, I want these different things, but yet I'm also saying, but man, I'd love to, go out and buy that new Corvette this week. I mean, you're basing your advice off of what I'm wanting to do, right? Even though in the moment I want this, but long-term I want something different.
Okay. So this is where it really becomes down into financial coaching. Okay. All right. Okay. Then we run it through like a what if scenario. All right. Okay, great. Eric, let's take a look at this. Let's model in what a new Corvette would look like for you.
Beautiful.
All right, great. Hey, all right. So, hey, you going to finance it or whatever? I put the numbers in.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right, great. Yes, great. You can get the Corvette. Go ahead. Now, can you live off of $3,000 less a month in retirement?
No, that's not
how many trips is that going to cost you? And I'm just using this as an example. I mean,
that's true.
Okay, great. Hey, you can take 2 or 3 less trips a year or 1 less trip a year because you're going to be riding around in a Corvette. Now, I'm going to ask you this question: is your wife going to like that? Is she going to enjoy that Corvette as much as you?
Yeah.
Right? Now, we know, based on a lot of studies that were done out there on the happiness index and things like that, people who spend money on experiences like the travel have way more happiness than people who buy material items.
But what if I travel there in the Corvette? Okay, so but to your point, if somebody's got a classic car, they're not driving it often. They've got it in the garage. They bring it out on nice sunny days or whatever, and that will probably last them through their entire retirement. But me getting a Corvette now, that's not even going to end up being my car in retirement because I'm just going to put way too many miles on it. So probably not a good idea because you're right. It's not something that's going to last. That's interesting. I love the fact that you brought up financial coaching because I'm assuming that's actually quite a large part of your job.
Yeah, it is. Sometimes it's getting people to get out of their comfort zone and be okay with spending. Sometimes it's getting people out of their comfort zone. And sometimes people do, what do they call it when you're like shopping therapy? They're trying to cure their boredom by buying things. And being able to, hey, this is detrimental, and it can have some lasting effects.
All right. Well, it's just the two of us on this podcast, right? So let's talk about wives, shall we?
Sure.
How do you handle that? Because usually, in my experience, just with my group of friends and looking at my parents and myself, usually there's somebody in the marriage that's a little bit more frugal, and there's usually somebody that's a little bit, maybe a little bit more loose with the money. How do you help a husband and wife or two spouses, as it were, navigate through that when it comes to kind of sticking to a plan and really mapping out what their dream future is? Because I'm assuming that once they're sitting there and you're asking certain questions, they may actually have different answers.
Yes, that is correct. Yeah, that is correct. So usually the one who is more frugal hopefully controls the money.
Good point.
And making it and controlling it are two different things. Mm-hmm. I've seen people who make it and who are frugal, and I've seen people make it who spend it, and the non-working spouse controls the money. I've seen it both ways. Is the more conservative the spouse, probably the more ideal at being able to make financial decisions, and the more spendthrifty the spouse, the more on a budget they need to be. Mm-hmm. Okay, ideally speaking. Right? Now, having these kinds of conversations are just like anything else, just like working out. It's not going to be easy the first time. Mm-hmm. There's going to be some pain. There's going to be some uncomfortability. I mean, people are going to get uncomfortable. But working through that so that everybody's on the same page or at least understands what the guardrails are. And looking at like a couple... A lot of times, especially in first marriages, seeing that the well-being of one spouse is the well-being of the other. It's the same. It's not your money, my money. It is our money together, growing as a family, growing as into retirement together, enjoying retirement together. And I've seen couples where they've taken care of one spouse's parents, let's say, financially speaking. I've seen them do it out of, and I've seen them not take care of the other parents, because they're financially well off. I've seen them favor kid, one kid who isn't doing as well versus another. I've seen all kinds, but and I've seen it where people try to hide stuff too, and that's not good. That's not good. That is not good. Again, it goes back to financial coaching. Hey, yeah, you might can get away with it if you try to do that right there. But in the event that the other spouse finds out, hey, that's going to be a world of hurt.
Oh yeah.
It's always better to be more transparent and open and honest with things, and to try to work through it with truth and love and understanding. And there, the real solutions will reveal itself.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fantastic. So when it comes to that kind of planning, especially when you have, I'm sure that you have quite a few clients that are a little mismatched in age. Maybe they're 5 years apart, 7 years apart, 10 years apart. Who knows? How do you work through that kind of stuff with somebody who may be retiring sooner than somebody else?
Usually, I'm just saying from my experience is that it's understood. Like, let's just say one spouse is 10 years older than another. They are able to financially retire and don't need to work, and then the other spouse continues to work, and that be that. That being said, it could add some more pressure to the working spouse, or a little bit of anxiety. A little bit of, I can't say jealousy.
Oh, no, I would say jealousy. I would absolutely say that. I can imagine that.
Well, the people that I've worked with, though, Eric, it really have an understanding, though. It's almost an understanding, well, this is the way it is, and there's not animosity there on the people that I've dealt with. Although I can see how that would play out. But one of the things that I feel like we do pretty good job on the front end and being very clear and open and honest and about things. So, we deal with a lot of very good people, and that is, I think that might be one of the reasons why a lot of people that we deal with are very forthright in what their intentions are.
Yeah,
and so they're able. I don't feel like they feel animosity or jealousy on the other spouse. They're more happy that this is what they're doing, and more supportive of the spouses. That's good.
I like to hear that, because again, it could cause a little bit of turmoil, but I think that collectively the three of you are usually sitting down and talking about what that timeline looks like, and maybe they're only going to work. Maybe they could be 6-7 years younger, but maybe they're only going to work another 2 years, and they're just going to be able to retire because they've got their financial house in order, right? So I think that's a beautiful thing. I think that's a very beautiful thing. Let me ask you this. What kind of communication are you having with, when somebody becomes a client? How often are you speaking to them? I know that you kind of mentioned it earlier as far as your updates and the time that you meet, but how often is that?
Okay. Usually it's every 60 to 90 days. Every 60 to 90 days, they're going to get an outbound correspondence from our office, specifically to them. And then at least once a year, we're going to have a strategy and tactical meeting.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. That's the minimum. As things come up, we get correspondence. Hey, I'm retiring next month. Of course, we know this. We already got it on the calendar. Or hey, my pension went up by X amount, and we'll get an email and update that. Or guess what? Just like I got today, CPA emailed me, hey, our mutual client had to pay $1,600 to the IRS. Okay, can we up the withholding? Great, that's exactly what we'll do. And we have a variety of different accounts, some held with us, some not held with us. And so we're organizing, making sure that he has enough withholding for next year so that he didn't have to worry about writing a check. Yeah.
All right.
And that's the primary cadence. Now, guess what? We We send out correspondence as tax laws changes that affect our clients, as new rules come out. We have podcasts like this. I do a weekly blog that's custom, and it goes out to our distribution list. And by the way, any of the listeners there can certainly subscribe. Just go to my website and send me an email. I'm happy to subscribe you to all of our publications. So we communicate a lot to make sure that the clients know that we got their back.
Yeah, and I know that these constant communications are going to have, like you said, maybe some tax law changes, things that you need to tell them, right, and alert them about, maybe some changes that are going to be coming down the pipe. Let me ask you this. How often do you want your clients reaching out to you, meaning what are those types of events or what are those things that you want them to communicate to you, right? Like I'm assuming something to the effect of, obviously a spouse dying, you definitely have to be communicated. That needs to be told to you, but and maybe a major inheritance or a good lottery winning. Those would be things that you would want to be communicated to you. But what other things? I mean, I'm assuming just life events in general, like just from my own life, dude, I can tell you, we were pretty on track with retirement and stuff. And all of a sudden we had our first grandchild and my wife lost her mind. She started spoiling that kid before it was born. And I was watching my retirement fund go quickly down. So what kind of events should people be reaching out when they're clients?
That's a good question. Health is a good one.
Oh, so yeah.
I've had phone calls like, "Hey, you need to come. This is not good, and we need to prepare." I've had, what's crazy, Eric, is that within the past 3 months, I've had 3 phone calls of people who were not clients contact me, say, "Hey, if this happens, I need you to do this, this, and this." Like they're fine and dandy taking care of it all themselves, but if they know they got one foot in the grave, they need someone like me or my firm to make sure that their spouse is taken care of because their spouse has no involvement in the finances.
Yeah.
Which is, hey, guess what? That's not good.
No.
That's not good.
And that actually happens a lot.
That happens a lot because guess what? You might not know. You might get hit by a truck. And then all of a sudden, your spouse has dumped on all this information. I mean, we're dealing with that right now with somebody, and it's an overwhelming amount. Matter of fact, I'm writing about it. Of course, I'm not disclosing names, but like a checklist of things that a surviving spouse needs to do.
Yeah.
Contact Social Security, take advantage of married filing jointly status in the year that the spouse passes away. Because the following year, you're going to have to file as a single. There's a variety of things like that. So, but to get back to your other point, marriage, birth, death, new job, additional job, tax status change. Let's say for whatever reason you need to be head of household versus married filing jointly. For whatever reason, you notify me, notify us, because we're planning your life based on the information you've shared with us. And that's why I try to loop in their estate attorney, their tax attorney, their CPA, and have communication standards throughout all of those teammates that help the client live their best life. Because all of us working together and rowing in the same direction keeps that client on the best path for success.
Yeah, and going back to something we talked about earlier, I'm assuming major purchases, vacation home, Corvette, boat, those are things you want to just kind of hear about. Maybe they should be running them past you just to see how it plugs into the system.
100%. One of them, I probably get this probably once every 45 days. "Hey, I'm buying a new car. Where should I get the money from?" I'm telling you, I get that about every 45 days, and which is a legit question. Yeah. If they got low cost basis stock and that could create a capital gain, hey, it may be best for them to borrow the money. Or if they only have IRA accounts that could push them up into a tax bracket, that might be a good idea to borrow the money if they can get a great rate. Or it might not be a problem at all, and then we could set up an automatic distribution to pay for it.
Yeah, that's great.
I've got a client of mine who wants to sell his second home and buy a 75-foot boat.
Oh man. Yeah. That's a client I want to know.
No, hey, guess what? I'm glad I'm his financial advisor. Maybe you take me for a ride.
That's right. And some fishing involved, and that'd be fantastic. All right. Well, Jeremy, before we close this out, I mean, that's a good overview of what it looks like to be a client. I know that people, again, get concerned, and I just want to say that once they meet you, I know that those concerns go away because they understand the relationship, they understand the level of trust and the level of professionalism you have. And so I'm excited for people to learn from you over these however many podcasts you decide to do, and really get to know you on that level. Before we end today's, is there anything else that we need to hear from you?
Well, I'll say this, is that if someone is apprehensive about something or have anxiety about something financial, absolutely reach out, okay? If you call our firm here at 843-970-1049, we're going to shoot you in the right direction. Now, a lot of times that may not be, we can't help you directly, but that's okay. You're going to get honest feedback and to know what the next best step is, and hopefully that can help you sleep a little bit better at night, and guess what? Get retired, stay retired, and live a happy life. So that's what our intent is.
That's fantastic. And earlier you said that anybody, doesn't have to be a client, can get on that blog list, and you said it was on the website. Can you give the website for us?
Yeah, riverbendwealthmanagement.com.
Super easy. Jeremy, thank you so much again for your time, my man.
Yes, sir. My pleasure. My pleasure. Anytime, buddy.
All right. And our last thank you, of course, always goes to you, listening audience. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening to the Retire Happy podcast with Jeremy Finger. If you have not subscribed to the podcast yet, please click the subscribe now button below. This way, when Jeremy comes out with a new podcast, it'll show up directly on your listening device. It also makes it much easier to share these podcasts with your friends and family. Again, thanks for listening today. For everyone at Riverbend Wealth Management, this is Eric Johnson reminding you to live your best day every day. And we'll see you next time.
Thank you for listening to the Retire Happy podcast with certified financial planner Jeremy Finger. If you have any questions, please visit us at www.riverbendwealthmanagement.com or call us at 843-970-1043. And remember, click the subscribe button below to be notified when new episodes become available.
Investment advice offered through Stratos Wealth Advisors, LLC, a registered investment advisor doing business as Riverbend Wealth Management. The opinions voiced in this podcast are for general information only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. To determine which strategies or investments may be suitable for you, consult the appropriate qualified professional prior to making a decision.